too early to be like, all right, we think we can go that far. Let's pay much more attention to them, or just say, all right, they're doing much better than they thought. But again, in terms of style or drafts, nothing too surprising.
I think they definitely have the talent to go far. Their players are really solid, and I wouldn't be very surprised to. I would be very surprised to see a repeat of last year, but I wouldn't be very surprised to see the same pattern where they start off fairly slow in the group stage. I think last year they also pretty much broke even in the groups.
Yeah,
they were like 7, 8 or something.
They had to play tiebreakers with Titan.
It was a 7-3.
It must be Titan.
Yeah,
the tiebreak.
So they were like in the middle of the pack, and then they really just figured out the meta and exactly how they wanted to play. And if they have learned the things they needed from the games here, and they still have their confidence, then I think 4 draws for them so far, and it was 4 draws, 1 loss, right?
Yeah.
Is good enough, because now on the deciding day for the group stages, if they come up big, they could start in the winners bracket, and if they don't, I still believe they could be a team to look out for to go a couple of rounds in the lower bracket at least.
I think it's more a matter of having the drive to get to that far. Just because if you looked at Mu, he was like, okay, if we get top 8, we'll think about top 3. If we get top 3, we'll think about top 1. Whereas every other team's like, we want top 1.
Right. Yeah.
And if they can like actually taste it and be like, oh man, we're actually really, really good, we can actually get top 3, and then they'll have more confidence, and then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
All right. Well, Newbie will be playing 2 more matches today later on Stream 3, so keep an eye on that. Could change the standings for them, but for now, we do have our very first match. In fact, teams jumping right into it for the draft between Fnatic and LGD. Now, as we go through the draft, we'll review once again how this can all pan out. But at the end of the day, what matters is Fnatic definitely want to get at least 1 point and then 3 points to beat Complexity out of that 4th place spot. LGD, meanwhile, have to have at least the same result as Secret versus MVP Phoenix, which is going on Stream 3. And at that point, it depends who's ahead, Fnatic or IG, and their matchups based on the previous week will go on forward. Of course, on Stream 2, Cloud9 versus Complexity. Cloud9 just absolutely wants to secure that 3rd place spot. If anything, that's a big confidence boost for them if they beat Complexity and go in strongly at their place into the main event. Draft for Fnatic LGD, wow, going by pretty quickly, so jump right on over to that. And a Wispan, SFN coming out very early for Fnatic, securing that tusk for themselves, leaving the Gyro open and then the Undying for LGD. So some shifts again in the first phase, nothing too surprising, but what do you make of prioritizing the tusk over the Gyro for Fnatic?
I actually think the Undying is more important versus Fnatic, just because of how early game centric they play. I think if LGD gets to 25 to 30 minutes, it'll be normal for them. I think they're much more worried about the 25 minutes and getting past the early laning phase.
All right. Razor being picked up by Fnatic, not something we've seen too commonly in the early phases.
Yeah, it's particular a good response.